Hello. Thanks for listening to our podcast, Autism Goes to College. I'm Myles O'Mara, and I'm now a high school senior at Bridges Academy in Studio City, California. I'm close to making my decision about where I'll go to college in the fall, and I'm going to share some of my experiences applying to college and trying to figure out where I really want to go and what will be the best match for me. I had a lot of input, and I did a lot of research on my own, and we'll talk about all of that. I'm here with Catherine O'Brien, the host of the Autism Goes to College podcast, and I'm going to hand it over to her.
Hey, everybody. It's application season, and I'm happy to bring you this conversation with Myles. So we are taping at the very beginning of January. Your applications are probably in, and you may be starting to hear. Tell us how many applications you submitted and if you've gotten in.
I have submitted 15 applications, and I have gotten in to 10.
Congratulations. That's great. Can you give us a little more information about where you applied and where you're in?
I applied to schools all over the country. I applied to American University in DC.
Mm-hmm.
I applied to Oberlin College, which is in Ohio. I applied to Willamette in Oregon, Whitman in Washington. I applied to Wheaton in Massachusetts. I applied to a place called Curry College, which is in Massachusetts as well.
Mm-hmm.
DePaul University, Drexel University, Lafayette College, Loyola Chicago, Marquette University, Reed College, Trinity University, University of Denver, University of Puget Sound, and I think I've listed all of them.
Yeah, that's a lot of work. And you've gotten into 10 of those schools so far. So congratulations.
I've gotten into a lot, and thank you. I'm very, very happy about them. I've gotten into Wheaton, Willamette, Trinity, Puget Sound, Denver, Marquette, Loyola, Drexel, Curry, and Reed. Those are all the places I've gotten into.
Yeah. Reed was on my short list as well. It was a school that I got into and toured back in 2008 when I was in your shoes. How did you pick where to apply? I'm not sensing a common theme in like geography, public or private, small or large. So how did you choose?
It was honestly... A lot of it was my counselor, my college counselor talking to me, but it was also when I went into the college process, I didn't have a school in mind. I had interests in mind. So
like academic interests?
Yeah, like academic interests, what I wanted to study. I didn't know where I wanted to study, but I knew what I wanted to study. So I said that I wanted to study art history, and I wanted to study music, and I wanted to maybe get a minor in psychology.
Okay.
So I told that to my counselor, and they gave me some suggestions, and I kind of slowly accumulated all these suggestions because either my family or friends would tell me about them, or my counselor would tell me about them, or my school would have a presentation that the college was hosting, and I would go to it. So that's really how I found out about a lot of my schools, just like kind of word of mouth and all that.
Yeah, because, you need some place that has all of those programs that you're interested in and also has a level of flexibility as a student. There are certain institutions where if you are studying in the arts, you wouldn't be able to jump over and also minor in the social sciences.
Yeah.
So I see where they would be looking at that for you. I had a combination of interests and a desire to be in proximity to somewhere I could go alpine skiing. So I think it's worth considering what brings you joy and what you need as a student, even if it's not the typical search parameters. So what was it like to apply to 15 schools? Was it a ton of work?
It was honestly not as intimidating as I thought. Because
it sounds hard.
I mean, it is hard, but something to keep in mind too is that because of something like the Common App, all
Mhm.
your personal essay, your letters of recommendation, your transcripts, all of that is kind of just sent to every college you apply to. You don't have to rewrite your essay for every time you apply to a college. It's just automatically sent. And the only thing you really have to worry about is supplementals. Some colleges do require you to write an essay for them.
Mhm.
If you're a music major like me, some colleges might require an audition, which can be pretty daunting and which I had to do, but I got through it.
Congratulations. Yes.
Yeah, but it was really not as daunting as I thought. It was definitely a lot of work, and it was just a lot of like revisions, and oh my god, I have to add another school to my list, and oh my god, I think I want to take this off. I don't know about this. Oh my god, I have to write the supplemental. It was really just a lot of writing, and then once that was done, it was just a lot of like going through questionnaires on the college's section and just picking like, I want to study this. I want to study this. No, I don't want to apply to this program. Yes, I want to be in this program. No, I'm not going to live on campus. Blah, 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 blah. It was just a lot of like yes and no's and pick your majors.
Giving yourself time to do some of that formulaic work because there is a lot of urgency and a lot of deadlines. Yeah. I see. And did you talk about being autistic in your application? Was that something that came up on the comment?
I will say this. The only time I really talked about my autism was I talked about it briefly in my personal essay.
Mm-hmm.
And I talked about my personal essay was about drumming and how it's changed my life. And I talked about how my kind of drumming experience has helped me when I'm having a bad day or when I'm kind of overstimulated and how it kind of regulates me. And the other time I talked about my autism was when American University wanted a supplemental. Mm-hmm. For anyone who's listening who is thinking about American University or maybe has heard of it and is curious about it, they have a supplemental essay. You have to write an essay for them, and it's about social justice. It's about what's an idea or a belief or a topic that you're really passionate about. And so I wrote about the portrayal of autism in movies. Mm-hmm. I'm from Los Angeles. My parents are in Hollywood, so it's something that's very important to me.
Yeah.
And those are the only two times I really mentioned my autism. But in the American one, I made it all about autism and how I feel as an autistic person seeing my people and people like me kind of portrayed on the big screen.
Yeah, but the dominant emotion for me is anger because often these portrayals are less than deft. But I don't want to derail.
That's a whole can of worms that we're not going to open.
Yeah, we don't have to open that can right now. So you cared for schools that had a strong music program for your drumming, and you wanted to major in art history as well. So are all of the schools that you've gotten into strong in that area?
A lot of the schools I applied to have it's either both or like one or the other. Mm-hmm. Some schools have really strong music programs, like obviously Oberlin Conservatory is one of the top conservatories in the country. I didn't apply though because that's way too intense.
Yeah, but the conservatory, fine arts performance undergrad life is intense.
Scary, but Oberlin, great music program, and pretty decent art history. DePaul School of Music is very good. I sadly got rejected, but I did apply for art history as well. Mm-hmm. So the art history program is good. University of Denver's School of Music is also very good. And the art history program is also good. But a lot of the schools I applied to either have kind of both their art history and their music program are good, or kind of their music program isn't the best, but their art history program is really strong. Or sometimes, like with Oberlin's case, I don't believe you can major in music in the college. However, you can minor in music studies, and that lets you take classes in the conservatory.
Yeah. which is a interesting trade-off. I can see particularly schools where I had to choose between two of my passions, like choosing between music and art and history. That would have been a really hard thing to choose at your age, because it's tough. So when you were thinking about applying to colleges, how did you approach support for students with autism? Is your high school supportive, and do you want to carry that through into college?
Yes, my high school. I'm very lucky to go to this school. It's Bridges Academy. It's twice exceptional, which means
really cool.
Yeah, gifted plus some other learning difference.
Yeah,
so
gifted,
autism, ADHD.
but also disabled. So
that's what twice exceptional means. Yeah, it's a very unique school.
Yeah,
there's not a lot of TUI schools in the country.
No, there are not.
Not a lot of TUI schools in Los Angeles. So, yes, my school is very supportive, and it's, your IEP or 504 plan is built into your curriculum. So each student has their own IEP, and it's very strong. I want to carry that with me to college. I want to be somewhere that feels like Bridges and feels very kind of supportive and whatnot. And when I was looking at the supports for colleges, there's two main colleges that have really good supports. There's Carey College, which I applied to, that has something called the PAL program. I think the program for effectiveness in learning. I can't remember what it stands for, but they have two programs: the PAL program, which is academic support, and the SAIL program, which is social support. And then University of Denver has something called the Learning Effectiveness Program. A lot of schools don't necessarily have special programs, but they have an Office of Disabilities, and they give you kind of legally required accommodations, or sometimes just the school itself is pretty accommodating because it's a small campus, or the community is really accepting. Like Oberlin is not a inherently neurodiverse school. There just happens to be a lot of neurodiverse kids there.
Similar to Reed, it's a relatively small campus, but they're very sympathetic to all kinds of brains and different types of learning. I see. Were you able to visit most of the schools? I mean, you would have been traveling back and forth across the country from Massachusetts and the Midwest.
I would have had so much traveling. No, I only visited 3 schools.
Okay, so 3 visits.
I visited Trinity University in Texas, which is absolutely beautiful. It is a beautiful campus, not too big, not too small, just outside of San Antonio. Really nice. I visited DePaul, which has 2 campuses. I visited the Lincoln Park campus, but they also have a Loop campus, which is downtown. It's a more urban school.
Definitely.
Like a more urban campus, but it's still pretty nice. And I visited Loyola in Chicago, which was similar situation to DePaul, except maybe just a little bit better academically. Although Trinity is the one that really stuck out to me. It was really beautiful, and it's close-ish to home. So that really stuck out to me. But I'm going to visit more.
I will say I did not visit every college I applied to before I applied, but I did visit the places that I was accepted to before I committed.
That's what you should do. Always visit when you get accepted.
Yeah. My parents and I kind of regretted not doing more visiting beforehand, because we realized in the act of visiting the more faraway colleges, like Reed in my case, because I was from Massachusetts, like Colorado College, that I just wasn't comfortable that far away from home yet. And we probably could have applied differently if we'd come to that realization sooner. Because I ended up going to a college in Maine, being from Massachusetts. And it sounds like maybe you would prefer to be kind of closer to the West Coast. I mean, how do you feel about snow? It certainly snows quite a bit in Wisconsin and Illinois.
My mom is from New York.
Less snowy than Chicago. There is this lake effect thing.
My mom is an East Coastal.
Okay,
and
so
when I got into Marquette, I was thinking like, hey, maybe I'll go. And then my mom was like, Wisconsin is absurdly cold, and I don't think you
Yes.
would like it there. And I was like, yeah, I'm not a very winter weather sort of guy. I can handle snow. I mean, the only snow I've really experienced is up in Big Bear, but that's artificial snow. But I feel like I can adjust to snow. My dad's Irish, and so he's lived with a lot of rain. I can live with rain, but I feel like in terms of just climate and staying closer to the West Coast, I feel like I would like to stay closer to the West Coast and stay closer to like California because Texas doesn't really snow a lot. Washington maybe gets to rain, but not really snow.
Yeah.
So just I feel like in general, find a climate, like actual physical climate that you're comfortable with, because what you don't want happening is you're from like the middle of Dallas and you go all the way to like Chicago and you freeze to death.
Yeah. I mean, podcast star Tony Yao ended up leaving University of Oregon because he just did not like the rain. And, it sounds like you're more open to precipitation, but are there any schools that you didn't apply to because either you ended up not liking the supports that were available, ended up not liking the programs? Were there ones you're able to cross off your list?
There were. I got really ambitious at one point and put Berklee College of Music on my list, and then I took it off basically like immediately. Because I kind of realized, like, I think that is reaching too far. That's flying too close to the sun. That's too intense for me. I took Endicott College off my list because they have an entirely separate application process, and you need to basically redo your Common App application, which I just did not want to do because I already had so much on my plate. I just didn't want to add more.
Yeah.
I
did a
moved
lot.
St. Cloud. Yeah. I moved St. Cloud in Minnesota because I didn't really want to be somewhere that up north and that cold.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was some schools that I wanted to apply to, but I didn't. Like Bald, for example, I kind of thought the campus was a little druggy, so I didn't want to apply.
Yeah.
I thought about. My brother applied to Wesleyan, and I thought about Wesleyan, but I also realized like I kind of need to have my own life.
Individuate from your sibling.
I want to separate from my family and just kind of explore myself and explore my own life and who is Myles O'Mara and what is Myles O'Mara like.
Yeah, and when you say Berklee College of Music was flying too close to the sun, do you mean like too close to the sun in terms of you wouldn't get in, or once you got in, the music school life as a drummer would be like Icarus and melt away in some regard?
I think it was like if you've ever seen the movie Whiplash.
I love that movie, but people probably haven't seen it. It's a movie about
It's a movie about a drummer, but in the movie there's a very intense jazz teacher, which I'm a jazz rock drummer. So I kind of, the thing with Berklee College of Music is I didn't really want to apply to a college of music or a school of music because I feel like it would have been too intense. I feel like I would have flown too close to the sun because I would have been like, I'm such a good musician. I can do this. I can go to a conservatory, and then I'd burn out in the first couple days because I just can't handle like the sort of constant fast pace of a conservatory and the sort of intensity that it takes and the discipline that it takes to be a conservatory musician.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. And for those of you that haven't seen Whiplash, there's like a lot of scenes of drumming until his hands bleed. So it's that level of intensity that you wanted to stay away from. That totally makes sense.
Yeah. Everyone has their limits.
Yeah. And geographically, are there regions that you're starting to cross off? You've got kind of the New England, New York area, Ohio, the capital region. Any of these feel like a big yes or a big no? The
thing that the places I'm really crossing off are honestly like Wisconsin and Illinois, the Midwest.
The lake effect, snow and cold is brutal. So yeah.
Yeah, the lakes, the Great Lakes area of the Midwest sort of thing, but maybe besides like Ohio, all the places I'm crossing off because I just can't, like I cannot handle Wisconsin cold. I I really don't want to go to Chicago. Like it's a cool city, but I don't think I could live there for 4 years and
Yeah.
because it's just so windy and
It's
cold.
Big too.
Yeah, it's
Can
also
swallow
it's
you.
I'm from Los Angeles. I don't need to be in a big city. I'd like to be
Mhm.
more in a small town.
Yeah.
The capital area, like DC, I'm keeping on catch up scale. I'm keeping that on because I'm really interested in American and I'm interested in
Mhm.
DC. The West Coast I'm keeping because the West Coast and like Texas, so I guess like kind of the like little strip.
Yeah.
I'm keeping on because it's close to home. And then like Colorado and like Pacific Northwest, I'm keeping because the same reason, like they're both kind of close to home and
Pleasant
really easy to get.
weather. I mean,
Yeah.
Denver, if you want to live in a contrast to Los Angeles and experience something new, you know, the culture and the weather are very different. So I can see that being really good. There's
I'm
so
really
much
excited.
that you're considering in terms of lifestyle factors, in terms of programming. You know, if you had to do it again, would you apply to these same 15 schools? Or if you could go back in 6 months and be like, hey, self, don't waste the energy on XYZ, what would you say?
If I could time travel, if I could get in like a TARDIS from Doctor Who and
Mhm.
time travel back to the start of my college application process, I would definitely say apply to only like 5 schools. Don't apply to 15 because there's something to be said about casting your net wide. It's always good to have a lot of options, but at the same time, if you have too many options, then it's just going to be really overstimulating and you're going to have to like whittle it all down. And then you're just
Yeah.
going to be like, oh my God, I don't want to get rid of any of these schools. I love them all so much. They're all so appealing. So I would definitely cut out like a good 10 schools off my list. I think I would have only applied to my top 5 now that I think about it, because those are the schools that I feel like I really resonated with. And those are the schools that felt right for me.
Yeah, that makes sense because if it's a little bit hard to cross it off your list before you apply, it's that much harder to worry about the fear of regret and the decision paralysis once you have all these fat envelopes to choose from, you know?
Yeah.
I think being a little bit more judicious at the outset can really help with the overwhelm at this part of the process. But, you know, it sounds like you've already got some great direction and it's way better to have a bunch of good options.
I'm really lucky.
Yeah.
I'm
sounds like you've earned it through hard work.
Yeah. I think if there's to everyone listening to this who is struggling with applications and is stressing about, I'm not going to get anywhere, you will, because there's so many colleges out there, not even just in the US, across the world. There are so many places. And you will definitely get into one because there was a place for you out there. And I know I've found my place. I know I'm going to find a place. And if I can find a place, you can find a place.
Yeah. I had a short list of 6, and one of them was Trinity College Dublin, which is in Dublin, Ireland.
That's what my dad went.
Dublins in America, of which I'm sure
not
there are
Dublin,
several.
California.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Your dad is okay.
My dad is Irish.
Full Irish, not one of the many Irish Americans.
Not one of those like Bostonians who was like I'm Irish, like 15%.
My dad is 100%, but he's American born. His grandparents are we're Irish citizens. So yes, I understand the dynamics at play. So you said you're confident that you will find your place, but you also haven't put in a deposit yet, and you're still waiting for acceptances. How are you feeling about the final decision? Scared?
I'm scared because it's like picking your favorite child or picking your favorite animal. It's like
you're not supposed to pick a favorite.
Yeah, you're not supposed to pick. That's the point. You're not supposed to pick a favorite. But then at the same time, you kind of I feel like
got a favorite. And you're supposed to acknowledge it.
You're supposed to be like, I I love you all equally, but I just want to go. That's how I feel about college. Like I I'm really I know I'll find somewhere. I just need to figure out the where. And I'm scared. I've got
Well,
stragglers, but I also know that I've got good options, and I've just got to kind of keep it in the back of my head that, like, you know, you are very lucky. There's people you know that have not gotten into colleges yet,
mhm.
and those people that have already decided. But everyone goes through life at their own speeds,
Yeah.
and you just have to visit a couple places. You just have to whittle your list down, no matter how big it is. Like, whittle it down to your top 5 or top 3, and then you visit it, and then you visit your top 3 or top 5 if you haven't already visited. You compare all the notes you take, because you should always take notes on a college tour.
Mhm.
You compare pictures you took, maybe. If you took pictures of the campus, compare them as
Yeah.
well. And
So
if you know anyone there, talk to them, ask them how they feel about it.
definitely.
Get student feedback, because some people might be like, "Oh, I feel like the campus is too big," or, "Oh, I really love it here. The campus is perfect." Always get a bunch of different opinions.
Dining hall feedback is pretty key in my
Dining hall
experience.
feedback. And I would say also dorm feedback.
Yeah,
Definitely ask people
absolutely.
about dining hall feedback and dorm feedback. And if they're autistic, ask them about support feedback and see if they feel
That's a
supported
great
there.
point. So you haven't decided yet. It sounds like you're going to visit a couple of your top contenders.
I can tell you
what's
where
your
I'm gonna
plan?
visit. My plan is, if I get into Whitman, which is in Washington,
Mhm.
I'm going to go with my mom, and we're going to do a whole Pacific Northwest trip of
Yeah.
Puget Sound, Whitman, Reed, and Willamette.
Mhm.
And if I get into Oberlin, which I will find out on the 16th of January, which is my mom's birthday, which is hilarious. But
Sounds like a good omen if you're superstitious.
Yes. If I get into Oberlin, I'm going to visit Oberlin. But yeah, those are the places I'm going to visit. The only two places that I'm going to visit, regardless of where else I get in, are Oberlin and Puget Sound, because those are two incredible schools, and Puget Sound is very close. It's in Tacoma, and Oberlin is Oberlin. Everyone knows it. Or at least a lot of people have heard of it somewhere.
Liberal arts college.
Yeah, it's a storied liberal arts college. As a conservatory, it's super famous. So
Yeah.
it's somewhere I really want to see in person. I know some people who visited, and they said that they really liked it, and it was a nice campus. So I got to see it for myself. I got to see what all this buzz is about.
No, the fact that it is both an excellent liberal arts school and a conservatory of music is unique. So I appreciate why those are your standouts. And also as a pet owner and a teacher, I will say you have to love all the children equally. But it is true that there are people for whom your temperament makes you find them easier to work with. Your interactions are smooth and carefree and less stressful. So it's worth looking for campuses where you're able to feel at home. And you're able to move with ease, Yeah.
It's not always about what do you necessarily love more than the other. It's about, where do you feel comfortable? Well, especially for autistic people like me, what feels familiar to you? Even if it's a new place, even if you've never been there before, even if you're super scared of college, what place feels like home to you? What place feels kind of really comfortable to you?
Yeah.
Because I think that's the key. It's not always about this place is physically really close to where I grew up. It's about what vibe does this campus give off, and does it match the vibe of where you're from? It
can be perfect on paper, but you actually have to feel it.
It's like that kind of love at first sight sort of thing. You have to kind of feel it, and if you don't feel it, then it's not right for you, and you have to apply somewhere else.
There are thousands of other options. All right. So I hope you'll keep us posted. It sounds like you're going to find out Some big, important, exciting info from Oberlin pretty soon. So we're
and then I find out from American on the 31st. So I'm getting all my colleges like that. Yeah. And it's
big month. You're going to know, sooner than I knew. I didn't have all my info until March.
Yeah. Always apply early.
Yeah. If you can apply early action, it's really helpful.
Yeah. And if there's a school you really like, apply early decision. Yeah, just apply early if you can, but watch out for restricted early action and watch out for early decision.
Yeah.
Those two are a little bit finicky, but early action is your best friend.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Agreed. Couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you so much, Myles. And congratulations on all of your acceptances. It can be overwhelming to choose, but it's a good kind of overwhelm.
Yeah.